My guys, what is the most fucking serious thing in this world? Or basically the most fucking putrid and the most fucking vile thing in this world though? Not this world, fucking realm, that's it. If you say evil, nah. Nah. Evil is not the most fucking it's not the most fucking like evil is not the most fucking like irritating or basically the most flattering thing in reality to be honest, but horror, dude. Not really. Not horror as in the context itself. Horror and ugliness. That's the most evil thing in this world. I would say not ugliness as one might expect, like kind of in the sense of a reptilians, kind of like judgmental sense there. But later, horror as kind of like akin or basically like love quasi borrowed to not quasi borrowed but borrowed or derived from H.P. Lovecraft's work. This idea itself there of basically the freaking other gods, not outer gods, but the other gods itself that beyond freaking comprehension, that you cannot comprehend them. You cannot comprehend them. If you freaking comprehend them, you will freaking absolutely go insane there, or just basically be mad, be freaking dwindled by their freaking existence. To be honest, dude. It's not. It's not that the issue as well. It's not just the issue itself, because evil evil is horror too, but horror what really like defines or basically like pertains horror, to be honest, dude, or circle it out, to be honest though, or basically what does it encapsulate to a compass though? Horror horror is basically the possibility of that thing existing, like a freaking, I brought up this before. There's there's a thing. It's really freaking cringe. Really freaking cringe. I would not say that word anymore, but basically this freaking thing they called like abortion fetish, dude. That basically in Reddit there was this freaking guy there, and basically their partner as well there, basically basically copulating, of course, and then suddenly they're freaking like and then suddenly getting an abortion or actually permitting abortion to themselves is just freaking disgusting, to be honest, because they did this thing like many times over as well. And also the baby, not really the baby, but the fetus is basically almost at developing and can feel freaking pain, dude. That's horror. That's the most terrifying. If there is hope, and there is hope, and there if there is hope, there is horror. And horror is the most fucking terrifying thing, to be honest, dude. Why? It is basically when a philosopher think of a thing itself there, like basically consciousness itself there, or just the idea or kind of like idea of a malevolent god. Just that idea or just possibility, but not. But horror is not just possibility itself there, but basically the freaking not possibility, but basically the freaking supramental idea that a thing that a thing or this thing as just in concept or notion can mortify or basically mortify and abhor and an individual in abhor something, to be honest though. There's a lot of things, to be honest, dude. Basically the mind can conceive that stuff, like let's say that idea of nuclear bomb, or that idea of nuclear bomb, or even as well like even like modern art, and it's basically its ugliness as well. It's not really like horror, but it's close to ugliness. It is close to ugliness. And what is basically ugliness? It's basically they're both in tandem, to be honest, dude. Not in a context that basically, but basic not in a context that you see basically someone that has the ability and just to basically see this just basically like earth, to be honest there, or just basically like I know, it's basically like clench your eye there, or basically in disgust, or basically in disgust or resentment, not that, but basically, but not that, but ugliness. If you know the idea itself there and Platonism itself there, that beauty is the highest good, or beauty is good. So yeah, beauty is good. Ugliness is basically of opposition is that. You see basically kind of like people saying that freaking trauma is freaking not trauma's trauma, or basically your scars are good because it's a reminder that you endure and you tolerate, and just basically seeing that scars is basically just a reminder of the past is just ugly, dude. Just ugly. Or even worse as well, there a disease. Even worse as well, a disease itself there is basically like freaking a disease itself there that basically like I don't know, basically kind of like a cancer cell that multiplies as such, or basically just the ugliness of basically like modern art, to be honest, dude. That basically degrade and basically degenerate society as a whole, not society but basically the society as a whole, or basically like human world specifically. Ugliness as well is basically the idea itself that their idea itself there. I said before about basically kind of like not reptilian judgment too, but reptilian judgment, but sometimes there are some facts to it, not facts really, but basically kind of like this idea of basically the freaking killers though see their faces and just basically see their since physiognomy, to be honest though, physiognomy even, or even as well even as well there's some, even as well the freaking like elite, not elites, but basically kind of like freaking like Epstein and stuff. Yeah, like look at them to be, look at their freaking eyes or something, it's just freaking so dead, dude. That's basically it. That's basically it there. Or ugliness, as in a context itself there of a basically just a what ugliness as in a context itself of basically seeing a poop, to be honest, dude. Poop, to be honest, or seeing poop or urine itself there, or poop or urine, or basically a freaking ugliness. Ugliness is to purity, is basically a water to oil, or basically it's the nemesis, the nemesis, or basically a nemesis, or basically an basically it's negation. Ugliness is negation to purity itself. You see a freaking child that's really beautiful there, really beautiful and really like, oh my gosh, exuberant of energy, basically exuberant and basically glimmering of energy and potential itself. Then he became an old man. He became an old man itself there. He became an old man and basically become callous in life and become jaded to what happened, or what hasn't been progressed, to be honest, dude. And just it's so freaking sad, dude. That man itself basically freaking got now it's just that basically that child, or just that old man is just dying of freaking cancer or something. That the cancer is basically a freaking disease, terminal diseases, or just ugly as heck, to be honest, dude. Urine as a urine, poop or dung, or even as well a freaking like a basically desecrate, or basically a carcass as well is freaking ugly as heck to look at, to be honest, dude. That's it. When people say this basically flaws are good itself, it's just basically just worshiping the freaking worshiping this world worshiping this world as in a context is basically limitation itself and just ugly, to be honest, dude. You didn't even you or one basically the soul didn't even consent to this world, to be honest, just didn't consent to this world, to be honest, and just basically they become freaking like become rigid eventually time through time pass. It's just freaking stupid, to be honest, dude. And at all they become quote unquote ugly, as not in a context of physical, but basically in their inside. Ugly as in a context that they develop hatred and resentment to others in the world, but much worse to themselves. That's basically it there. Horror and ugliness is basically like much worse than evil itself. So yeah, this is Scales out.